Our office is now closed.
Not taking any more reservations. Will I be able to get into the buffet that I've been spending my whole day walking towards? And we're starting to get a little bit concerned. The fear creeps in. Will we get there? Hello, I'm Toycat, and how long does it take to walk from London to not London? Well, today I'm in the very centre of the city, and I'm going to be walking all the way out to the countryside in rural Hertfordshire to find out. The reason, the best buffet in all of London. In fact, the best buffet in London isn't in London, it's all the way out in Watford, legally its own separate distinct place, and I've wanted to go for so long, but every time I look at the directions, I see it takes over an hour by car, over an hour by train, and I just think, wow, that's so long. But then I see it only takes just under 8 hours by walking, and I think, how bad could an 8-hour walk be? I love to hike, and so why not do a bit of an urban hike? That is precisely my plan today. I'm going to be going from the city centre out to the small towns and into the countryside and seeing exactly how it is, kind of on an hour-by-hour basis. Every single hour, to kind of show the progression, we'll be going to a pub, and so that is my goal today. I do have to say though, it's getting pretty late. I checked my phone and my watch, but when you're in the city, you don't do that. When you're in London, you just go, where's our nearest big tower? Oh, look at that, there's the Elizabeth Tower. It's about 12:40 right now. This buffet closes at 9, and I want to get as much eating time in as I can, so we got to do a 7.5-hour walk. I got to start zooming. So our first hour is going to be an incredibly urban experience. We're going to be in the very core of London. This is where all the embassies are. This is where all the tourists are. I'm going to bump into people if I walk around like this. And I'm kind of curious to see if this is the most expensive part of the journey, or if maybe it's the reverse, that as you go out towards the countryside, that's where the millionaires really live. I'm curious to find out. Also, it's so cool. Every time you look around, you see a monument. There's the London Eye right behind there. But yeah, I've got no time for that. Gotta stay on track if I want to get there in time for all the pasta. I haven't eaten today, and I'm starving. By the way, I wasn't expecting this at all, but this walk is actually taking us through central London and all of its landmarks, and apparently buskers too. Wow, don't they know I'm trying to record a video, going on an urban hike, just getting interrupted by singers. Okay, so my plan not to eat all day and do an 8-hour walk and then just binge it all at the buffet has failed about 30 minutes in. I'm just so hungry. My body's telling me don't walk anymore. So I went to a bakery and I got myself maybe a few things. It's okay. I'll be hungry at the end, I hope. Oh. So good. So my plan was to chart the pub prices as I went along the way by going inside and having a consistent pint across each of them, and then we could mark how much less expensive it gets. But here they wanted £6, and just I can't deal with that. Okay, so this is going to be your hourly review outside the pub because I can't afford to be in there apparently. So yeah, hour 1 has been entirely central London. I'm at Edgware Road now, so we're approaching the edge of Zone 1 or inner London, and you can tell everywhere you go, it's not necessarily dangerous, but there are loud cars, there are things everywhere. But then conversely, it's very easy to go anywhere. It's very pedestrian friendly. There are wider pavements than there are roads, and more importantly, there is, it's very, very undangerous, I would say. There's not been a situation where a car has almost hit me, which is good news, I guess I would say. So very urban, very dangerous, but also lots of stores, and so I might have gotten a little bit hungry and gone to a bakery. But yeah, hour 1, going good. Can I do 7 more? My legs are saying no, but my heart is saying yes. The next 3 hours of this walk are all down one road, by the way, which sounded pretty bad on the surface, but it's a really, really wide pavement, right? Like, look around at this thing. There is next to no one using it, but we have all this space. So it's actually kind of nice. It's nothing like a regular hike, but this urban hike is going great so far. But I'll check in with you at hour 2, I guess. By the way, we're also, look how fancy the houses are on the right here. Just has to be said. We're walking through a part of London where $1 million might not be enough to get you in the doorway for property, which is fun. But anyway, hour 2 coming soon. Sorry, I thought I was walking across London today, but apparently without realizing, I've accidentally walked into America. That's the whole joke. I'm gonna go to a pub now. It's been 2 hours. I'm now at the Crown Pub and Grill in Cricklewood in the borough of Barnet, and we're gonna find out how much it costs here. I guarantee you, at this zone of London, somewhere between 2 and 3, I think, it's not gonna be £6, but maybe I'm wrong. So exactly 5 for the cider. Is that like, would you say that's like cheap or expensive for the area if you had to vibe it out?
Thanks for the area. It's like either the same or cheaper.
Okay.
But you got a Wetherspoons there where they have more variety.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so
Wetherspoons, Hollow and category. Okay, hour 2 is now complete, and I have to say, we've now gone into territories that I genuinely don't know about. I think everyone specializes in like one corner of London, and I'm not really that familiar with Northwest, and now I'm starting to learn. It's starting to be weird to me that there's gaps where there's no businesses, like you can walk 5 minutes and you don't have a store or a kebab place or whatever. How can you live having to walk 5 minutes to Kebab. Apparently, the people in the borough of Barnet know that quite well. But yeah, it's starting to get from, inner London, sort of everything is everywhere all the time, to like the sorts of places where you maybe need a little bit of, driving mixed in there too. There's more roads and priority to that sort of stuff. But it's still been pleasant. Besides the fact that we've walked in just a straight line since the last pub, and it looks like the next hour is a straight line, it's going pretty well. And, £5 for a pint, we're getting in there. You could come up here for that. But I still think that there's more discounts to be found as we head north/west. The map looks like that still. It's a very long road. It's a very interesting one too. The weather is changing so fast today, by the way. Like, it was raining and I was about to record to tell you how it's 3 p.m. and it's raining, but then the sun came out, and so if you look behind us right here, sky looks beautiful here. Sky looks dark and depressing here. Welcome to British weather. Oh, I have an office furniture store here too. That's exciting. But yeah, it's 3 p.m, so about 2.5 hours in. And honestly, the urban hike is more exhausting on your legs, maybe because there's concrete everywhere. But I also feel like I have more easy ways out. When you're climbing a mountain, you're locked into it. I could go home right now if I wanted to, but I don't want to because I want that buffet. Oh, I'm dreaming of it right now. I'm using B-roll from later in the video. I don't know what it looks like. I do know. I guess I do know what it looks like. I'm using B-roll from later in the video right now because I only have a vague idea of what it looks like. But that food that future me is eating right now, oh, so good. I'm excited for it. Future me is going to have to pass me back quite a bit for what I'm doing for him. But it's going to be good. Let's keep going. The urban hike is actually becoming quite literal now. There is a giant road junction here, and so they built these weird pedestrian bridges to allow us to go over it. And honestly, again, adds to the experience. There's the sort of things you'd never choose to walk on unless you follow the ridiculous Google Maps directions to the out of London buffet. Oh, it's all of that is solely so we can go over this roundabout without inconveniencing drivers. Why don't they go over us? Bastards. Oh, also, the further we get out for London, the more they start to lie to you, both in terms of the street design, but also the pledges they're making. New homes for all Londoners, how are they going to fit them all in that one place? It's impossible. It's too small. It's not going to work. 3 hours into the walk, and I can now officially say that it has been, we are outside of like inner London. Everything's starting to feel a bit more suburban in that way. And interestingly enough, it's getting very car focused, not only in terms of the road design, but also there are dealerships everywhere. But according to the milestone I just went past, we are now 6 miles away from London and 8 miles from Watford, meaning we're approaching the halfway mark, which is pretty nice. Also, I'm not at a pub right now, I'm at McDonald's because I just need the hydration. However, I did ask, and £5.20 for the closest thing they had for a cord leg. So we've actually gone up in price again, maybe because we're getting to the fancier outskirts where you can drive in, and maybe that's like a luxury in some way. I wouldn't guess it from looking around, but maybe that's how things go. Or maybe we had a cheap pub in the Crown. We'll see how the trend develops from here. Maybe we're going back up the hill, and maybe zone 2 is the best place to be. We'll find out at the end, but for now, I'll enjoy my definitely cider. Delicious. We're now in Edgware, or as my editor said, the edge of where, which is really how you would describe this part of London. But yeah, that down there is the edge of the Northern Line, and we're about to come to the edge of the Jubilee Line, which means we're approaching the end of the London Underground network. Even if you were catching the fast underground trains and you stayed on them for an hour, this is as far as you could get. And we're about halfway, so it's exciting. I am now at 4 hours though, so the next pub we see, we're gonna hop into and see if Edgware, if it's worth living at the edge of the tube line just for the pints of cider, because I don't drink beer. Anyway, let's go find out. This is the Three Wishes, and it represents the end of this single stretch of road. I think it's the A5, but I'm not sure. But it's one of the big roads in and out of London, and we're finally done with it, or we're gonna be done with it after a pint. What does it cost though? £5. £5? Okay, yeah, sure. Could I have one of those, please? So yeah, £5, which I do have to say is actually slightly more than I'd expect to pay even in inner London, but maybe I'm out of date on inflation apparently. Useful to know. The last hour of walking has started to really grind, by the way. Walking on one road is really interesting, but as the commercial businesses start to run down, it starts to get less and less interesting. And so I am kind of glad we're leaving it, and even if it's leaving it to go onto country roads, I think there's this weird gap between super urban, interesting businesses everywhere and things to look at, and the countryside is interesting things to look at, and at least it's grass to walk on. That gap in between where it's just houses and then a Wix and then like falling over a traffic light. I think that's a little bit less exciting. I'm hoping the next few hours are a walk in the countryside, but given that it's between Edgware and Watford, I'm not sure that's true. But I'm excited to be over halfway there by a little bit, and so let's continue on the walk now. Look at that, by the way. Geese, honkers, how you doing? You doing good? Glad to hear. I'm running around like a happy dog right now. Beautiful. After 4 hours of just concrete jungle, it's nice to be in nature with the geese. Honk. Hour 5, by the way, it's getting really, really, really rural in a nice way. I've saw some geese, I've seen some nice country lanes, and although sometimes you get back on a road like this, it is nice in general. However, we have now, even though it's still in London technically, there is no semblance of any service. And so I've been looking for a pub for the last 10 minutes to kind of mark the way, and there is no such thing. Instead, I'm just walking down the main road, up a hill, and regretting my life decisions. But hopefully, I'll get you before hour 6 with the nearest pub to Stanmore, London, the edge of London. At some point, we're gonna pass like a goodbye London sign. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, let's go. Hill close. It's worse than that. We're already on it. So I left the very centre of London, Charing Cross, at 12:37. It is now 6:02, which means if you want to walk from London to not London, starting in the centre, it takes you 5 hours and 25 minutes to walk from the centre of London to not London, which really goes to show how big the city is. Although again, for the last 25 minutes, there's not only not been a business selling alcoholic refreshments, but there's been no businesses whatsoever. We are, to my city boy eyes, very rural right now, and I hope that changes, because you know, it's meant to, the whole graph gets ruined if we don't find one before hour 6. So I'll keep looking, I guess. Hour 5 and also 6, and yeah, 5:30, not too bad. But I do have to say, at this point, the walk has become walking through forest roads, up hills. There's some nice views, but my legs and my knees and my feet are now tiring. But that is the nature of urban hiking. I'm definitely building up the appetite. I heard advice that you're meant to eat like some protein and carbs 30 minutes after you're done exercising, and the good news is we'll probably be doing that today. So let's go for hours 6, 7. I've lost track at this point. Let's go to Watford. The sun is officially setting on our dreams. Just under 2 hours to go though, exciting. It is 6 hours and 50 minutes since we left Charing Cross, and it just hit me, you know, this is a fancy place. It's an expensive buffet. That's why it's so good. Do you think they might need a reservation? I really don't believe in reservations, but if you're gonna walk 8 hours somewhere, I feel like you might need to reserve, and so I'm gonna quickly do that now.
Thank you for calling Resort Reservations. Our office is now closed.
So that's mildly concerning, I do have to say. You know, not taking any more reservations. I'm sure it'll be fine. This is the sort of place you just rock up to, you know, after a good day's walk, and they just let you in. I'm pretty sure. We'll find out when we get there. Will I be able to get into the buffet that I've been spending my whole day walking towards and building an appetite for? I'm starving. Let's find out. I'm genuinely really hoping. I need this, you know? I don't just want this, I need this. Hi. Just for curiosity, how much is a record link here? Okay, thank you very much. Now that we're in hour 7, the last pub along the way, it is £4.80. We're starting to get a little bit concerned because they don't pick up their phone at this hour, and also you can't make a reservation at this hour, and they say they close at 9, which I felt meant that, you know, last time you can come in is 9 because you can make a reservation at that time, but if they're not open, the fear creeps in. Will we get there and they'll say we're closing in 10 minutes? Because our current estimated time of arrival is just before 9. So, is the day all for nothing? That is the fun thing we get to find out. But for now, we're in Watford. It's nice. It's a little dark, but it's nice. I could do with somewhere to sit down though. It is very, very dark. Everywhere but the hotel. Where, hopefully, we can come in now. We'll find out, I guess. Hour 8 has passed, and to finish up the very unfair metric we have here, if you wanted to get yourself a bottle of cider, it would be £8. And so, clearly, on the expensive hierarchy, that's the very top. Very unfair to compare it, but that is the comparison. But yeah, I'm now here at the Glass House. It is very, very, very mouth-watering to look at some of these dishes. The meats, you know, I feel like it's a very generic thing to be like, ooh, meat equals good, you know, in the Western world. But like, oh, it looks so good. But even some of the other stuff, like I'm looking at the pile of poppadoms, I'm getting excited. The pasta being made fresh to order, the desserts, the cured meats. Funnily enough, like I feel like just because I haven't been eating, I have no appetite. I'm curious if it's one of those things where I've like killed my stomach's ability to process, or if I'm just gonna eat a mountain. But let's go find out right now. Okay, so plate one at a buffet. I feel like some people take this like weird attitude of like, don't fill up on carbs. They make money when they sell you carbs. The point of a buffet is you enjoy the most amount of food that you enjoy. So my first plate is just go all across the board. Are they good at sushi? Are they good at their meats? Are they good at their carbs? Are they good at poppadoms even? So good that you just eat poppadoms all day. If you have a meal of the best thing you want in unlimited quantities, that's when you enjoy it the most. But yeah, I would do Toy Cat food review, which feels very appropriate, right? For me to go through here and be like, is the sushi good? It's fine. Is the steak good? This has to be, you know, the primo items have to be good. We can do this one by one, and maybe we should. But for now, I am very, 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 very exhausted. And I need to rebuild those muscles with all of the food that they have to offer. And then once I'm too full, I'm going to keep on eating anyway for value reasons, as is buffet tradition. So I asked the chef to imagine the most amount of Parmesan a reasonable person could want, and then double that. And so now I have cheese with a little bit of pasta on the side, but boy am I excited. This is plate 4, by the way. Still going very strong. I would like to review every individual item, but I'm honestly just ravenous and everything's tasting good. I think by like plate 6 or 7, that's when I'm gonna have the real, you know, like what is actually really good by itself versus what is just filling up space in my stomach. But things are going well so far. I have no regrets in my day besides the very last bit of getting here, where apparently I could have gone here at 9 and it would have been fine, but they weren't taking reservations, their phone was down. This is a lesson to you right now, Glasshouse. You gotta be clearer about your expectations on people. Anyway, yeah, pasta tonight. Wait, actually, you know, pasta. You know, actually, the pasta's not what I'm here for. Parmesan. Real good. Come here and just ask for the wheeler Parmesan. Don't even bother the pasta underneath it. I'm gonna level with you. Plate 7 has killed me. I went for a lovely mix of naan bread, poppadoms, cheesecake, a little bit of paneer. You know, usual mix of desserts. But I don't have the space. You go to the point where you have no space, and then you push past it, and then you push past that point, and then at some point you just become immobile. I wasn't able to bend over, but that is a sign that I've eaten all my stomach can. For the experiment of will walking 8 hours help you with food, it seems like no. I bet this is about my normal max. I hoped that as I push past, I'd maybe unlock a new stomach from all the extra needs I have. I don't think you get more. You definitely feel like you earned it more though. Someone is running through they're excited for the buffet it seems. Anyway, I am very low energy, but 7 point something hours of walking. Bueno, my first ever 40,000 step day of my lifetime, 42,000, and I still have to get home, bear in mind. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, I haven't worked it out yet. I'm gonna have to walk down that dark drive again. But I have to walk down that dark drive again. Don't know how that's gonna be, but now I know how long it takes to walk from London to not London, real long time. And also I know not to walk 40,000 steps in a day. It took my whole day, and I've had a great time, but was it worth it? I'm just kidding, it was great. Oh, such a good naan bread, pairs really well with the cheesecake. I'm too full to even fake enjoy it. So now it's time for the debrief. I tried to do this at the buffet, but I started running out of words. So now that I've taken an Uber a short distance so I could catch a bus, so I could get on this tube train, so I can get on another tube train to get home. It's a disastrous journey, but I feel like another 8-hour walk might not be on the cards right now. I think it is worth saying, would I recommend the buffet? Yes, actually. That was a really cool hotel in the middle of nowhere, but it had a really, really nice buffet and amazing service. Like, in the UK, we don't do service, so when you get good service, that's amazing. That was like next level, and also there were so many good things. I could hang out there quite frequently, but you know, it had a very, very high price tag. But if you want that American-style buffet without having to travel so far, this might be your best option in the UK. This is a upper mid-tier Vegas buffet, as someone who used to live there, I can tell you that. However, as far as the question of should you walk 40,000 steps in a day? Not for the sake of going somewhere, especially not to eat where you're just gonna pound on those calories, but for the experience of doing it. Like this is the furthest I've walked in one day. This is the most I've walked in one day. And I feel like when you push your body, it helps you realize that if I can do 8 hours, the next time I have to walk, ooh, it's 55 minutes somewhere. That's going to be so doable. The only thing stopping you is time, and maybe even encouraging me to walk faster on those shorter distances. So I think 10 out of 10. How long does it take? All day, because it's night. It's not even like early night. It's like 11 p.m. right now. Would I waste my day on something like this again? Heck yeah, I will. And subscribe to the channel to see more of my dumb wasted day experiments. I'm very full. Also, I think I brought my editor along this trip, and I think I might have killed him, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know if he knew what he was getting into, but it is not bedtime for a little bit, sadly. But yeah, thank you for watching. Third channel, don't care. Goodbye.